Hi guys, I'm Insia. As you can tell by the title of this video, this is my first video ever. I created this channel because I love makeup. It's my one and only passion. I want to create, inspire, and be inspired by all of you. I want to create a place where we can all talk about makeup, all the new things that are coming out, all the new trends, what we like, what we don't like, and I hope you guys will join me for my journey. Please subscribe to my channel if you would like to support me, and let's get on with the video. Okay, so I already filled in my brows. For that, I used the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Kit in the color Ash Brown. I'm going to start with my eyes. So let's start with the ColourPop Concealer. I'm going to use the color Medium 30. As you can see, it's very well loved. So let's just apply that to the eyes. So next, I'm going to use this Sonia Kashuk setting powder in the color Medium to set my eyelids. I'm going to use this tapered Morphe brush. It's the M438. Looks like this. And I'm actually also going over my eyebrow when I set because I feel like it sets my eyebrow product a little bit better in place, and that way it doesn't move around and stays all day. I also like the amount of texture that it creates for when I'm applying my gel. I feel like they look fluffier and fuller. So for the eyes, I'm going to start out with this Morphe Dare to Create palette. It's the 39A. I actually do think that this palette is limited edition. I got it on the second round, which is why mine's all black. I believe that the first round one had like some gold in it, which was really pretty. This is what the inside looks like. So it's very beautiful. It has a lot of beautiful colors. I love that they have all of these neutral shades too. They're really nice transition shades. I've actually used some of the darker ones as bronzers too, and that works pretty well. So the first shade I'm going to go into is going to be this middle one right here. It's called Define Me. I'm going to be using this Morphe brush. It's a big fluffy one. It's called the R37. And I'm going to dip into that Define Me shade. Tap off the excess, and I'm just going to run this through my crease. Next, let's go into the shade right next to it. I believe it's called Evolve. So next, let's go in with this more tapered brush right here. It's the Morphe M573. And this, I'm just going to kind of keep right over here and really define the crease. I'm also kind of rounding it out at the end of my eye as well, just to create some depth for when we place the lid color on there. And then I'm going to go back in with that first shade that we used and back in with that fluffy brush again. Just pick up the tiniest bit of product. I'm just keeping that right at the edge of that Evolve color, just to kind of help things fuse a little bit better. Not to make it too dark too, because again, we kind of want this to be just like an everyday wearable look. So I want it to be appropriate for nighttime and also daytime. So we're creating a little bit of depth, but yet still keeping it pretty light here. Perfect. Okay. So next, we're going to be using a color that I'm super excited for. I love this color. This is from ColourPop. This is like their Super Shock Shadows in the color Let Me Pass. This is what it looks like. It's this gorgeous orange color. It's very vibrant, but actually very wearable too. It's very pretty. I'm placing my finger first in the middle because that's where I want the most amount of pigment. And then I'm kind of taking it on the inner corner here. And then the outer. Next, I'm going to take a really small brush. This one doesn't have a name on it. I believe it's like a really old Coastal Scents brush. I got this like when I first started makeup. I'm going to go back into that Let Me Pass color. I'm going to take just a little bit on my brush. This product does work a lot better with your hands or your fingers, but I like to use a small little brush just so I can get in right into those little corners and kind of right at the edge where my eyelashes are. And then once again, I'm going to go back in with that fluffy brush with no additional product on it, and I'm just going to kind of fluff out the edges again, create a little bit of definition here. I'm going back in with that tapered brush with that darker Evolve color. Just a tiny bit of product is all you need. I just want to very, very subtly deepen out this outer corner. I don't want it to look like I've added a darker shade there. I just want it to look like a little bit more dimension. So we're not covering up that color at all. Perfect, just like that. Okay, next I'm gonna line my eyes with this NYX Retractable eyeliner in the color Bronze. And I'm just gonna trace this around my eyelashes and then tightline my eyes as well. I'm bringing this up just a little bit. I don't want it to look like a true wing, but just a little bit just to kind of elongate my eye. And I'm going to jump into this Wet n Wild palette. This is the Comfort Zone palette. And I'm going to be using this really beautiful shimmery cream shade to highlight my brow bone. And I don't want to overload this look with a lot of shimmer, so I'm actually just keeping this right underneath my arch, and that's it. And I'm putting fairly minimal product on as well. Just like that. I'm going to be doing the inner corner as well with the same shade. However, I like to wait after I do the rest of my face and then apply it at the end. I'm going to be going in with this NYX Angel Veil Primer. Taking about a little pea-size amount of that. Next, I'm going to be using the ColourPop No Filter Stick Foundation in the color Medium Dark 120W. This color is just a tad bit too light for me right now. But I think once I lose my summer tan, I should be okay. I'm going to be blending that out with the Morphe M439. This color is a little bit light for me. It does look much lighter on camera than it does in real life. However, it's still about a shade too light. I think once I lose my tan completely, it should match pretty well. So I want to do a cream contour today. So I'm going to go in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is in the color Beautiful Bronze. With this product, I personally like to apply it to my hand first, and then I'll take a small brush. Like this one, for instance. This is the Morphe E8. I really like this brush for cream contouring. It's nice and small, and it fits in really nicely into that area. So I'm just going to dab a little bit here. And once I get it kind of all around my brush, I like to kind of sweep it in there so it's nice and blended into the brush. Let's... And then I'm going to go in with a blending sponge. And we're just going to kind of blend out those harsh lines right there. I'm going to apply that underneath my jawline here. And really make sure to blend that behind your ear. And then with whatever is left on the brush, I'm going to pinch the brush a little bit and just run over that on the sides of my nose. I personally do not like to really contour my nose. I actually like the shape of my nose already. I just like to define it a little bit just because I feel like kind of your nose tends to get a little bit washed out. So just for that, I like to apply just a little bit on the edges, and then I'm also going to be applying the concealer. So that'll kind of help as well. Under my lip a little. And then I'm going to take my blending sponge. This is the Real Technique sponge, by the way. I'm just going to blend everything out. Especially down here, you really want to make sure that it's all blended out or it can look really bad. So. And then I'm going to take the flat side of the sponge and just kind of pat out everything so everything is nice and blended and there's no harsh lines anywhere. I'm going to start with the ColourPop concealer in the color Medium Dark 34. This one is a little bit dark, but it's also quite peachy. So I like to start off with this one, and then I'm going to highlight with the lighter shade in Medium 28. So let's start off with the darker one, and the darker one I'm just going to apply right in my dark circles. Right there. Because it is quite peachy, it kind of helps combat the dark circles right there. Next, I'm going to go in with the medium 28. This one's a little bit lighter. It's not very light, but I love the way this concealer applies. However, keep in mind it does oxidize about like maybe half a shade or so. So when you're choosing colors, just keep that in mind. I'm going to finish off with the flat side again and just kind of run that all over my face once more. Next, I'm going to go in with this Makeup Revolution Luxury Baking Powder in the color Banana. I do really like this powder. I feel like it makes my under eyes really nice and smooth. However, I'm not a huge fan of the packaging because the cap is pretty small. And so when you dump it in there, I don't know, it's just not as like nice as like if it was in like a big container like how they normally are. But I can look past that. I'm going to be using this Real Techniques setting brush to apply that powder in. And what I like to do is apply the powder onto my brush and then kind of take my palm and push that product into my brush. And I find that I get a really nice application when I do this. Let's just pat out my under eyes. Make sure there's no creasing at all, and then apply the powder. I'm actually going to go into this Sonia Kashuk powder that I use to set my eyelids. I like this powder because it's colored. Like I said, it's in the color medium. So I like to set like the rest of my face and kind of where I get my smile lines and all that with something like this because it gives me a little tiny bit more coverage and I just like the way it kind of warms up my skin. I'm going to be using this really giant fluffy brush for that. This is the Morphe E41. This is a really nice all over face powder brush. To finish up my eyes, I'm going to go back into these two shades right here. This is Define Me and Evolve. I'm going to start with Evolve, the darker one of the two, and I'm going to run that underneath and then blow it out and diffuse it with Define Me. I'm going to be using this brush by Ruby. There's no number on it, but it's just like a nice tapered pencil brush. Next, I'm gonna go in with this tiny little fluffy brush. This is a M506 by Morphe. I really like this brush to help diffuse out my lower lash line. It's also really nice for like really precise crease work as well. So I'm going to go into that lighter Define Me shade. Take a little bit on my brush and just kind of run that on the bottom here. And tie everything together. Next, I'm going to jump back into my eyebrows. This is the Essence Make Me Brow. I like this. It's a nice dupe for the Benefit Gimme Brow. Next, let's jump into bronzer. I know I already applied some cream bronzer, but I always like to apply just a little bit of powder bronzer on top of that as well, just to ensure that it's going to last all day. So let's go in with that butter bronzer. This is in the color Deep Bronze. And I'm going to use kind of a fluffier brush just so it's not overdone, especially since I already laid down that LA Girl concealer. I don't want it to get too harsh. The nice thing about this bronzer too, if you've never used it, is it's kind of translucent. So even though it has a really nice color and a good amount of pigmentation, it's still translucent, so it doesn't ever look too heavy or cakey. So. Next, I'm going to go into this NYX blush in the color Double Dare. I'm going to take a clean blush brush from Real Techniques, and I'm just going to tap into it just very, very lightly. This is obviously a very strong color, but I just like to, I'm just going to apply it just as a light wash underneath a different color just to help brighten up my face a little bit. Next, I'm going to go in with Apri-Cot in the Middle by Wet n Wild. It's just a nice light peach with a gold reflex in it. I really love to bring my blush kind of around like the perimeters and center of my face. I just feel like it kind of ties everything together and kind of warms everything up and looks a little bit more natural. Next, I'm going to set my face using the Make It Last by Milani. While I let that dry, I'm going to be applying my mascara. So for mascara, I'm going to go in with my Perversion mascara by Urban Decay. Next, I'm going to jump back into the Wet n Wild palette that we used for the brow bone, that color right there. I'm going to brighten up my inner corner and kind of blend that in a little bit too. I'm actually going to go back into this orange color, and I'm going to apply it underneath my eye. I kind of like the way that looks. For highlighter, I'm going to go in with Gold Deposit by MAC and my Morphe M510. The beautiful thing about this highlighter is that it's so finely milled that you can put on a lot and it never looks like thick, you know, like it doesn't look chunky or anything like that. It just kind of like really blends in to your skin and just makes you look wet. Just for a little bit of oomph in the top areas of my cheekbones, I'm actually going to go in with this throwback. This is a BH Cosmetics Carli Bybel palette. And I'm going to go into this gold shade right over here. And I'm just adding this just to the high points of my cheekbones. And then I'll take a smaller brush and highlight my nose and my lip area. To finish off this look, I'm going in with the Pixi Glow Mist. Shake it up. For lips, I'm going to start with the NYX lip pencil in the color Beyond Nude. Next, I'm going in with this Milani lipstick in the color Bahama Beige. And to top that off, I'm going to use the ColourPop Ultra Glossy Lip in the color Champagne Mommy. Okay, so this is the final look up close. I had so much fun creating this for you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel to help support me. Thank you so much.